We have Kevin. Do I have to use Kevin Joseph Ryan?
You can just go with Kevin Ryan.
Okay, Kevin
that's
Ryan.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you're a future serial killer or why, but there's a great story out right now about Jordan Peterson and Dave Rubin. It's called Jordan Peterson, Dave Rubin, and the Long Distance Call, and it's written by Kevin, who is one of our. I think he's our best writer on staff. He writes for us on the show and also writes these really good long form pieces for the Blaze. You spent several days with Jordan Peterson. What do you think Jordan Peterson would think about Chris Cuomo and the statement of, Antifa is morally justified?
That's a tough one to say. I'm not really sure. I mean, I think if I were to guess, I would think Peterson, who's no fan of the left, would object to it.
Yeah.
I think
he's a peaceful guy.
He is, and that's kind of the misconception that we're hearing a lot, is that he's this kind of rabble rouser, this person who's like trying to stoke the flames and cause this cultural disharmony.
You had a chance to sit backstage at a couple of his shows and also meet with him privately. Did you know who he was? I mean, were you really up to speed on him before you even asked for this interview?
I was, absolutely. Okay. And my entry to Jordan Peterson was his more the psychology side of things, and his kind of like self-help message.
Yeah. And
his direct message to people, like basically clean your room, get your act together. Very direct message, very, I consider positive. And really, it shouldn't be, there's nothing really revolutionary about that.
No.
It shouldn't be.
No.
But we're kind of living in a time where, for some reason, that is revolutionary to say that to people. Take responsibility.
It's weird to hear because reading your piece, it's like, you get the sense it's like he's like a rock star.
Yeah,
it's what it feels like. And we were at one of the shows that you wrote about, and it is. That's what it feels like when you're there. But it's like a guy. He's just this guy on stage talking about things that should be for every person.
He's like a smart version of your dad, or a smart version of your mom. He's saying the things that your mom either said or should have said.
Definitely.
He's just saying them in a very educated way.
Yeah, well, rule one is what? To stand up straight with your shoulders back, I believe is rule one. And he talked about that for like an hour on stage. That was the whole first hour of the show. And I'm thinking to myself, there's 12 of these rules. I have to work tomorrow. But I mean, it was really interesting. And it shouldn't be something that's revolutionary, but in this state of affairs, it is.
When you came away from this, and now that you've had, because this was over a month ago that you met him the last time, what is the thing that you come away with on maybe what surprised you or what settled with you on that's who this guy is?
It's funny. I spent a lot of time getting to the core of this idea, and it's so simple, but it was really a revelation. It's just this idea that he's just a human like the rest of us, and because right now he's vilified and deified in equal measure. And so really the discovery of Jordan Peterson for me was he's just a person like we are. And he's doing something special. But at the end of the day, he has the same flaws as we do,
Were you surprised? I was. Were you surprised? Because you were with me when we met here, yeah. And
that was actually my favorite part. I wish I could have put more of that in the conversation you had with Jordan.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was wonderful.
Having him in person is different than having him on the phone on the air.
Definitely.
With a bunch of commercial interruptions and everything else. And we're going to have an uninterrupted conversation with Jordan Peterson soon, I hope. But I was shocked at how he really didn't know why this was happening.
Yeah.
You know, you remember that?
See that? Yeah.
He asked several times. I haven't figured out what's happening yet. I don't know exactly why this is such a phenomena.
Definitely.
And in watching the show, it's very clear. It's somebody who is measured, smart, somebody who is talking true common sense, eternal principles without all the gobbledygook and everything else. He's just speaking plain common sense, and he's telling people, "You can do this. This is you. This is you. You can do this. Forget about everything else.
Yeah.
You are a good person if you choose to be."
I think of the 3 shows that I went to for the story, he did it best, the one we went to, and it was really, there was an excitement in the air that I didn't really experience at the other 2. It was there, but it wasn't as intense as what we experienced. And it was palpable. You know, like when you were talking to him after, there was just this buzz in the air. And even looking at him, I saw a smile that he had, this energy that I didn't really encounter anywhere else during my reporting. So that was pretty neat.
I think he's a long-term, or is this a flash in the pan?
That's a good question. That's something I confronted the whole time I was doing my reporting. It was like, I don't know. I mean, in this era that we're living, you can't really tell. I mean, I kind of hope so, but
yeah, it's interesting. You get the sense that he is very cognizant of that. You know, when you talk to him, we've talked to him on the air a couple of times, and several times he's made the point of, I'm just trying to get through this and make sure I speak clearly and intentionally, and I don't make a stupid mistake that tears all this, good thing down.
He is exceptionally deeply felt. He has deep emotions. He can be brought to tears by the thoughts in his head. He's a guy who, I think I might have learned this from you. He's a guy who collects, we have actually a lot in common. I collect all this dark stuff in history.
Yeah.
He collects all of the dark art of Soviet history and everything else.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think he's trying the same reason that you have read Mein Kampf. He wants to be aware of the darker elements of mankind so that we can avoid going to those darker places, or at least understanding them. I mean, one of his animating ideas is that you have to kind of this Dante-esque journey where you have to descend into hell and move through hell before you can emerge and understand life in a meaningful way.
Do you, because we were sitting next to each other in the show, and I don't know if I said this to you during the show. I know I said it after. I don't even know if I understood the first 20 minutes.
Definitely. I was in the same boat. Yeah.
Right. I mean, and we're pretty, we're fairly educated people, and I had a hard time. How much of his audience do you think really grasps more than 80% of what he's saying? Because he's so deep.
He is. And here's what I really admire about his audience. I think a lot of them do. But even if they only grasped on the bottom line principles, I think he words them so that, like in his words, they're all implementable. Everything he says is, even if it's very abstract, it's something that you can be brought to life in a physical, real world way. That, just kind of like a counselor would. That advice level, and I think he excels on that level.
And I think that the audience, they know they don't catch it all, and they're intellectually, instead of pretending, they're intellectually honest enough to go, well, I only get about this much of it, but I'm trying to understand the rest. I mean, it is not only he's taking us on a journey that he's been on for a while, but I think everybody in his audience is on that same journey, and they're looking for those same things. And it was nice to be around intellectually honest people.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's the word for it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kevin. It's
Absolutely.
a great story. You need to find it. It's on The Blaze, the front page now of The Blaze. It's a long, how many words?
6,500.
Yeah.
Can you get to 140 characters next time?
Yeah.
You bet. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
But
work
it's
on
a
that.
great story of what happened backstage. Dave Rubin and Jordan Peterson. Check it out on The Blaze now. Thanks, Kevin.
Awesome. Thank
All
you.
right.